All right, hit it on in. I figure while the engine's out, I will try to get rid of, or not get rid of, but replace a lot of this hose. And it's a lot more hose than I thought it was, actually. But I'm going through and I'm measuring, and I'll get some replacements for everything while I can. I did start taking out hoses, and this is the kind of mess I've got going on now. This is the cockpit, of course. I did buy some new exhaust hose. It's 1 7/8 ID, but the cockpit locker is thrown up all over the place. I've got an electrical work going on to create a way to pump the fuel and polish it on the way out of my diesel tank, which I really need to do to get the diesel tank out of there. And yeah, just down below, there just isn't much room. And I got my mainsail in here because I took the, and I pulled the engine out. I pulled the mainsail off the boom here, off the mast, as you can see. So, anyways, I am finalizing this. I'm just going to use this little pump right here. And I got a couple of new diesel tanks, diesel cans, which I loathe to buy because I don't really need them, but mine are full. And once I get that going, I will start pumping the fuel out of the diesel tank, which is just below us here underneath the cockpit, and pump it into these the 2 5-gallon diesel tanks that I have. Right now I've got a simple setup. I just have the pump, as I said. It's connected to a couple speed connectors. I just go ahead and put the speed connectors here. This is connected to the outlet of my inline fuel filter that typically connects directly to the engine. This is the engine inlet right here. Instead of hooking up an additional filter just yet, I decided to go ahead and just use this. So this is a 2-micron filter. It should be on the suction side, so I have the pump set up downstream from here, and it immediately started pumping. I don't know how long it's going to take, but let's see, it's going. Okay, all set. I got about 7 gallons, 7 gallons out of the tank. That worked really well. Cleared it all up. So now I got to get back there. And unfasten that tie-down strap, take off some of those, take the hoses off, and then I'll crawl through the side there and take that tank out. Now let's gotta go out the side there, I guess. Even got a label on it, which is cool. It looks like it's dirty but in good shape. That's the label I'm talking about right here. $12 gallons. Yeah, I guess that was about right. What I predicted, I guess I predicted closer to 14, but it's fine. Okay, clean this up. I don't know, this is the vent, so I don't know what this is over here. We'll get rid of that nastiness, clean it up, and then swirl it around with some sort of something to clean it, the interior, or yeah, and put it back together. This is the platform, and the bottom of it looks pretty good, actually. I mean, it's starting to get a little bit of, well, it's actually really just dirt. It's not even, it still seems structurally sound and clean too, which is good. No real water stains or anything. So I think I'll probably just go ahead and keep that. and then back that way. Sorry about that light. Just want to get these tubes and things out of here. I believe that's the old engine exhaust outlet, and the engine exhaust now is over there towards starboard, but this is just a gaping hole essentially in the transom. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that fitting, grind down the interior here as best I can, and glass it over, at least the interior to start with, and then when I haul the boat I'll do the exterior. But we'll get that fitting out first. Oh, good. I taped the outside pieces so it won't just fall out into the water. Now you see it's quite a large hole and it's not being used, so I want to clean that up. I've got to find out if that is if that's cord back there or not. Doesn't look like it. It's too thin, I think. This is what was in there. Like I said, the old exhaust. I wonder if it can be reused. I wonder if this doesn't look like it, but it's possible. Okay, this bit sticking through the door aid, if you've seen earlier videos, this is a hookup to a propane tank. Used to have a regulator on it, gauge, etc., for an internal heater, a cabin heater. That the previous owner took the heater, left the pieces. I'm not going to keep them. I typically like to keep things, but I don't see myself paying for a heater, and that'll give me room to clean up that hole in the transom to do some fiberglass work. What the hell? Oh, that's not good. Well, I've got no AC power, and the whole dock doesn't have it apparently. So, okay, there's that. I've got this this flange on the prop shaft, and you see how corroded it is. And so I just soaked it with some PB Blaster. I won't take it off this time. I'm concerned that if I take it off, that I won't be able to get it back on. I don't mind replacing it, but I need to get it back on because I have to be able to move the boat. What I eventually want to do, and I don't think I'm going to try to do it while it's in the water. But you can see how long this tube is in the back right here. And the length of this, first of all, I want to replace this. But if I do so, water is essentially going to come flooding in. And so I don't want to do it when the boat's in the water. I probably could. It's probably not that big a deal, but I want to shorten it by a couple of inches, at least 1.5 inches, because the length of it is precluding me from, pretty much precludes me from opening this up. You see how little room there is right here? I need to work this. Oh no. Oh, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe this needs to come back here. Anyways, I was thinking that there wasn't enough room to manage the stuffing box. So if this was a little bit shorter, that tube was a little bit shorter, I could still double clamp it. I'll just take an inch or something out of there. And then that way I could have more room in here. But all of that requires me to take this flange off, in or out of the water, and probably just replace it. But if it's, you know, surface rust, it's, I don't know. But that's a consideration. I got to figure out whether I'm going to try to do that while I'm here, another trip here, because this weekend is fast coming to an end, and I still have lots of stuff to do back here. Okay, without power, I'm not going to tackle this right this moment. I need AC power, and there's some sort of power issue here at the marina. So I'm going to turn to these hoses, and these are a couple of bilge hoses here. This is the manual bilge pump. Oops. Manual bilge pump is up here, this wheel gusher. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get these out of here. I'm questioning these plastic fittings for their outlets. They are above water, but I don't trust them. I'm going to see if I can find something that's some bronze fittings instead. But that'll be for another day. So it looks like I'm going to be in this cave for a while. But let's go ahead and take this tangle of hoses out of the way so I can get back. And the thing I really want to get to is this one right here, which is the exhaust, and that's going to be a bear because it's not very flexible and it needs to loop back here. Okay, hoses out of the way. I got 3 of these plastic things. We've got the see that back there? I got the hose clamps off for the exhaust hose. But of course there's still a little room to work, so I'm just going to go ahead and take a hacksaw to it, cut it short. Goodness, this lighting. Anyways, take a hacksaw to it, cut it short, and then see what I can do here. Well, I got most of that hose chopped away, but it won't budge on the. Let's see where I can see if I can see that there. It won't budge on this end down here. Sorry for the bad lighting. So I'm going to try to take a utility knife and cut it off that flange there. Whatever it is, that fitting. It is wired, but if I cut down to the wires, maybe I can get to it with some wire cutters. But it's taken a long time. Oh boy. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm basically skinning it. You can see all the wires. So let's see if I can clip those wires and maybe get deeper that way. And hopefully it will come off. Okay, I've got it opened up. And I don't know if I can get in here and do this. But I think that will come. This is my fuel fill, my deck fitting for the fuel fill, and the screw on top there actually became disconnected, and I didn't know how to reconnect the chain. I don't know why. Anyways, remove the hose. I'll reconnect that, and that way hopefully I won't lose that rather important bronze screw top. That simple. This is the drinking water fill hose. You can see how absolutely freaking disgusting that is. I mean, the exterior, okay, but even in the interior, it's got some nastiness in there. I wonder if this thing is original. Anyways, I got a replacement, and we'll get that new piece in. And unfortunately, a lot of the hoses I can't buy right now, so I'm just gonna have to come back and do some more. So here's the inlet and the hose, and I didn't realize it, but this hose has wire reinforcement. It's interesting. It looks pretty gross in there. You can see that. Pretty freaking gross. What I'm going to do is I get the other end here. I think what I'm going to do is stitch it together so I can essentially, when I drag one end through, because I got to go through this, I got to go behind this wall right here. And with the new stuff being, it's flexible, but it's looped. Hopefully I can just pull it through. Like you do with a halyard, that kind of thing. Okay. Okay, a bit better, more cleaned up. I'm gonna take this off, this rusty old thing, and had that closed up in some way or another. I think that overall it looks pretty good. Under advisement from a friend, I might have it pressure tested. There's the most minor corrosion here, surface corrosion here. This is the bottom of the tank, but overall, for a 40-year-old tank, or at least what I suspect is 40 years, it's not bad. And of course, before I do all that, there's a little bit of fuel left in it, so I'll get that out, try to clean it out as best I can. This was sticking out of the side here, obviously another pickup tube. I didn't know that exactly. Had all these things, and it was just plugged off with this rusty old nasty thing. But what I believe I've learned here after taking this out is, first of all, it's clearly not original. Someone hacked a hole in the tank and then put this pickup tube in it. But this answers a question, because I recently grabbed this out of the transom. And this is not the engine exhaust, but it probably was a diesel heater exhaust that someone installed and then subsequently removed. And I didn't ever see any signs of this, but this additional pickup added to the fuel tank makes perfect sense for an add-on diesel heater. And they were just taking fuel off of this to keep the cabin warm. Not a bad idea, but I'm going to probably have this blocked off. I'll have a patch welded onto it, and then at that point probably will have the whole tank pressure tested. All right, I took a first pass at getting the last remnants of fuel out of this diesel tank here, and this is what I got out of it. It's a ton of aluminum shavings. See all that? Just a ton of it. So when they cut that hole, among other things, the cool thing is I don't think I see any water in there, which is good. But all that debris, just nuts. Yeah, when they cut this open, they obviously didn't take any time to try to keep it out. And there's still a bunch in there, so I'm gonna have to go through and rinse it a few times here and there, and then I'll bring this to the welder to get that taken care of. Yeah, look at all the